Hey everyone, Richard from Digital Foundry here, and I wanted to revisit the InFamous titles now they've been upgraded for PlayStation 4 Pro. Both Second Son and First Light have received the same upgrade treatment from developer Sucker Punch, and I've chosen to take a look at First Light here simply because the neon effects that surround the hero Fetch just looks so good in HDR, and that's actually an upgrade that applies to both standard PS4 and Pro owners, and unfortunately it is an upgrade that we can't exactly show you right now owing to limitations in capture technology. But the point is that the InFamous titles are both still really good looking games, and as you can see from the footage here, the engine scales up beautifully to 4K. And yes, this is a 4K video, so if you're watching on YouTube we recommend Google Chrome to ensure you see the full picture, but for the ultimate in quality, please do consider supporting the Digital Foundry Patreon, which gives you access to a super high quality encode that you can download at your leisure. Okay, so I was saying that this is a 4K mode for the InFamous games, but there are a couple of compromises and tricks here with the game's high resolution Pro implementation. First of all, it's not actually native 4K, it's actually 1800p, meaning 3200 pixels on the horizontal axis and 1800 on the vertical. And well, strictly speaking, it's not actually 1800p either, it's actually checkerboarding up from a lower base resolution. So, in theory, the combination of two upscaling technologies working together could look pretty grim, but happily the run of good quality checkerboarding implementations for PlayStation 4 Pro continues. Now, there is actually a softness to the presentation, but it does actually blend in quite nicely with the post-process effects. But the point is that actually finding artifacts in the checkerboarding effect is actually really hard. If we freeze frame here, then yeah, you can just make out a kind of banding effect. But in general play on an actual 4K TV, this only occurs in fast motion, and it's actually very difficult for the human eye to pick up on. So we're playing the game here in the default video mode, dubbed higher resolution in the options, and we're also running with an unlocked frame rate. Performance is quite variable, and generally speaking it's not the way that we generally tend to prefer playing games here at Digital Foundry. We're presenting it like this because that's the developer's choice as the default setting. But after listening to us and indeed others, Sucker Punch did indeed add a 30 FPS cap to the game, and that is still available here along with other new options. And this is where things start to get interesting. In a move that's likely to go down very well with Pro owners with Full HD screens, InFamous can indeed divert the extra GPU resources to higher frame rates as opposed to rendering a higher resolution. So we decided to put a three-way comparison together here. Now that's the base PS4's unlocked performance on the left, the higher resolution Pro mode in the middle with totally unlocked 1080p Pro performance on the right. The good news is that the Pro's high-res mode is effectively on par with the base PS4, perhaps losing 1 to 2 frames per second actually in less complex scenes. But the point is that Pro owners with 1080p screens aren't locked to lower performance levels as they are in some other titles. The high performance mode doesn't lock you to 60 FPS unfortunately, but it gets pretty close. And it is interesting to note that doubling GPU power with the Pro doesn't double the frame rate, and this is likely owing to memory bandwidth or CPU limits, areas where the Pro only receives limited upgrades. That said, 1080p display users can still super sample down using the high res mode, though in that case we'd recommend capping to 30 frames per second. Other than that, there's very little to separate the base and Pro versions of InFamous. The core visuals are identical, even down to the typeface getting a pretty remedial upscale in the 4K mode. The Pro upgrade was put together by a team of just 2 developers at Sucker Punch, and from Sony's perspective that's what it's all about really, opening up the world of higher resolution displays to PlayStation owners with the minimum of effort required from the developer. Anything on top of that, like 1080p 60 modes for example, well that's gravy. Right, well I know that there's a bunch of you out there who just want to see more 4K videos, so I'll let the footage play out for you guys, but remember that you can support what we do here at Digital Foundry by liking and subscribing. That's all from me for now, thanks for watching.
That was too damn close. We should be good. Or not.
These guys aren't giving up. Any ideas?
I've got an escape plan. Just have to time it right. Dwayne, you ready with the bus? I see you. Coming your way.
Bus? Who was that?